Hello everyone and welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. This is a Spice of Life blanket special. I'm Sandra and my podcast is about crochet, knitting, sewing and other crafty little bits and bobs I get up to. But this is rather a special episode where I'm going to talk about the Spice of Life blanket, which is actually one of my older patterns. It was a pattern that I came up with and was run as a crochet along together with Black Sheep Wools, which is a gorgeous yarn shop full of lovely helpful ladies and lots of wonderful yarn and fabric, and there's even a coffee shop so you can stick around for longer and get some refreshment while you're there. Yeah, so a lovely place to visit. But yeah, so we came up with this crochet along, and I don't think it ever got its own special at the time, although my subsequent crochet alongs that I did with Black Sheep Wools did. So I thought I would correct that now by talking a little bit about the Spice of Life blanket. And also we've got a new yarn pack coming out for it. So this seemed like a good time to chat about it. So let me show you the original blanket. So here it is. It's a sampler blanket, and this crochet along in this pattern was from 2015, so it's been out in the world quite a while now. I'm sure a lot of people will have already heard of it, but it's sort of it seems to have remained popular, and it's quite a nice way for beginners to sort of learn some, really get stuck into their crochet and sort of learn some new stitches at the same time and make a whole blanket, which is always quite an impressive thing to do when you're starting out. So this was the original blanket in the original colours. Now this was a Rico yarn that we used originally, which has now been discontinued, so you can't get the yarn packs with these original colours in anymore, which we thought was a bit of a shame. So we thought we'd revisit that and see if we could come up with a new yarn pack for you, and that's what we have done. So let me show you the new pack. So here we are. Here's all the colours. Now hopefully you can tell straight away that this kind of follows these sort of original colours quite nicely. It's very hard to hold up an entire blanket and this yarn at the same time. Yeah, so I followed the colours quite closely, but there are some changes in here, partly because it's a different range, so there's different colour selections available, but partly just because we wanted to give it a little bit of a sort of a refresh as well. So that's why we've called this one the Original Remix Yarn Pack. So it's based on the original colours, so that's the original part, but we've also given it a bit of a remix, so Original Remix. So most of the colours match really closely. We've got quite a nice match on this pink here and the teal, the duck egg blue like the original. The red here is quite a crimsony bright red on the original blanket. I don't know if you can see that there. So we've got a bit of a darker shade for that there. This one is Toasted Almonds, again a good match, and Papaya Punch matches in well. The blue is also a really good match actually, the jeans colour. This is is it dungaree denim or denim? I'll pop it up there. Yeah, that one's a really good match. So the greens are a little bit different. We've got quite a jadey green in the original blanket. Here, let's show you this bit because it's got both greens together. So we've got a lovely jade green and a lighter mint green. So those we've mixed up. We've got this more of a sort of, I think it's called snap pea green. So it's more of a sort of peapoddy green, and this lovely lighter avocado colour. So they still work in really nicely with the whole palette. And we've got this light blue colour, which is also a good match. And then we've got these two. So we've got the greens and the reds, which are slightly different. The yellow has got a different mix to it, but I really love the richness of this yellow. It's slightly more vanilla in this which I think it was the only colour they had in the Rico range at the time. But I really like the sort of bit more depth and richness of this. And then the purple is really dark colour in this, and I actually wanted to just lighten that up a bit because there wasn't a lighter colour in this range at the time, and so now there is one available. I'd like to put that in because that's something I think I would have quite liked to have done all along, really. So those are all the new colours, and I'll list out, I've got a Spice of Life blanket page on my website. I'll pop that in the down bar below. And that's got links to everything that you'll need if you would like to follow along with this blanket pattern. So it's got the pattern, it's got links to yarn packs, and you know, just everything is there. So lots of tutorials and things as well. So that's a great place to go. So that's the original remix yarn pack. So what you can do is the pattern. There's two versions of the pattern available now. There's a free version and a paid for version. The free version has all the information you need to make the blanket in the way that it was originally made. So you can take this new pack and use it with that free pattern. That's absolutely fine. But what I've also done is in the paid version of the pattern, I've just added a few extras. So there's a few more helpful tutorials in there, and also a couple of little bits that, you know, they aren't essential, but they're nice little fun bits that I thought I would include. So we've got in there this colour card, which I think is quite useful for in projects like this where there's a lot of colours. So what I've done is I've listed all the colours for this new original remix pack, and I've left a little space so you can pop in a bit of the colour. And then if you want to join in with just your own colours, or if you're using one of the other packs, you can list the colours out here. Against the yarn letters, you can assign a yarn letter and pop in a bit of your colour here. So if you follow the pattern as written, you'll see the yarn letters listed, and then you can just quickly glance at your list and you can visually see the colour, and it's just so much easier than trying to remember all the yarn names. And again, if you're using your own your own custom colours, you can pop them in here and then you can remember what you've assigned to what. So if you print the pattern out, or that page of the pattern out at least, you can kind of, there's a little dotted line here, so you can fold along that line and then you can poke your little yarns in each of that, and then you can just keep that beside you. So here's one that I've done for mine. So I printed it out and folded along the line, and I've just put a little bit of each yarn in there. It's just so much easier. It looks quite pretty too, doesn't it, with all the yarns hanging off it. So that was one thing that I included. I've also made up some little check sheets for all of the yarn packs that Black Sheep Wools has for sale for this pattern. So that's just, so they've got everything listed there, all the different colour changes are listed, and there's a little checkbox by each one, so you can just keep track of where you are in the pattern and what colour change you're on, and it just gets quite satisfying to be able to tick off and sort of see how your progress is coming on the blanket. So I've got one of those for each of the different yarn packs, as I say, following the original colours and the alternative yarn packs. And last of all, another little extra I've popped into that pattern is a blanket blank. I've started, or I think I'm going to include these for my patterns, some of my blanket patterns now. But it's basically just a little black and white line drawing of the pattern. And it's just got all the rows in there. This one, because it's quite a lot of colour changes, it is, you know, there's quite a lot of rows in there. But it just, if you're using your own colours or you want to change things up, you can just plan out the colours a little bit more. So you can print sort of a few of these out and try out some ideas if you want. But sometimes it's just useful just to be able to sort of think a few rows ahead of how it's going to go. Especially, you know, as you get through, you want to sort of see if you're using your colours evenly. You can kind of plan ahead a little bit. So I sort of put a few colours in mind there, just to colour it in, just get a feel for how it might look. So yeah, so we're running another little crochet along for the Spice of Life blanket. I know a lot of people have already done it, so you know, it might not be new to you, but maybe you'd like to join in with us anyway, or maybe you are new to it and you'd like to give it a try while there's some other people around. It's always nice to do it when there's a few of you doing it once, because you can ask questions and you sort of, you know, as you get to each section, there's probably someone else who's doing that section as well, and you know, you can chat about it together. So that's always quite nice. So on my blog, what I'll be doing is I'll be making the Spice of Life blanket again. Now, as I've said, you can use this original remix pack and you can follow the pattern as it is now. All the colours are in there and you can just go through it at your own pace, you know, whiz through it quite quickly if you want to, or take it slow. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the original pattern. I'm going to use our lovely original remix pack, but I'm just going to rearrange the colours this time. So I won't follow the colour order that is in the original blanket. I'm going to remix it slightly and come up with a new, not a new colour scheme because I'll be using the same colours, but a new colour order. So I'll be posting that on my blog as I come up with it, as I start to create it. So yes, if you'd like to follow along with the new colours that I'm choosing, or the new order of colours, the remix order that I'm choosing, then you can do that on my blog. So I've made a tiny start so far, very tiny. I've just done those starting rows, and actually I think I stuck to the same colours at the very beginning, but then I've started to change up here and I've started to make some changes. So yeah, I'm just interested to see how, if I use the colours in a different way, perhaps I can get a bit of a different feel to the blanket, and it just kind of keeps it fresh for me. So yeah, I fancied doing that for a little while, so it's nice to revisit that pattern again. So yes, if you'd like to follow me, that will be posted on the blog. I don't have an official schedule for that because at the moment my time is a bit short, so I have to kind of fit things in as and when I can. But you can subscribe to the blog if you want to, either by blog loving or whatever app you prefer, and get notifications that way, or you can just pop in sometimes and just see if you want to. And also I'll obviously post about it on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'm Sandra Cherry HRT there. Obviously I'll post on there where I've got any updates as well. So that's how we're doing the crochet along this time. It's quite a casual crochet along because obviously the pattern's there, so you can really set your own pace. But we'll also have the Black Sheep Wools Facebook groups running. So the Make Along group is their Facebook group where they host their crochet alongs. So that's another great place to go, and you can chat to people that are making the blanket, and it's a great place for questions. They're always really helpful in there. So that's all on the Spice of Life page. I'll pop the links to that there. Yeah, so hopefully that'll be quite fun. And the other thing I'll be doing is some little video tutorials to accompany. So as I work through the blanket and I get to each section, I'll be doing a little video tutorial for that section, and I'll post that up on YouTube. And then when I do my blog post and I'll tell you what colours I've got, I'll pop the links in for the tutorials then as well. So it would be quite nice to have some video tutorials to accompany this blanket, I think, because as much as you can explain things in writing, and I try to make everything as clear as I can, sometimes there's just no substitute for just seeing what someone's doing. So yeah, it would be nice to get some video tutorials up for this, and I think that kind of makes it a little bit more of a whole complete sort of package then, because although I didn't design the blanket with complete beginners in mind, I assumed I wanted it to be an easy pattern, but I expected that people knew how to crochet and were familiar with the sort of basic stitches would be the sort of person that it appealed to most, but actually we've had so many complete beginners just go for it and sort of learn to crochet with this blanket that it's just been amazing. And you know, even though it wasn't expected, it's just so lovely. And so we tried to, when the original crochet along came out, we tried to put out as much extra information as we could to make sure that those people could, you know, keep up with us and follow along. But I think if we have the video tutorials now, it will just make, I think it will just be that extra help for people, and hopefully explain things even more clearly. So hopefully everyone will find those useful as well. So as I say, it's very low pressure. Yeah, so if you wanted something sort of relaxing that you can kind of just dip into and out of, then I think this might be something that could suit you. And if you have done the Spice of Life blanket before and you just want to sort of come up with your own colour scheme, or you know, you just like the camaraderie of the crochet alongs, then that would be great. And you know, you've got some lovely little things in here, so you can design your brand new colour scheme, because that's sort of one of the really nice things about the blanket, is just seeing what ideas other people come up with. You know, I came up with these original colours, and then other people just took things in a completely different direction, and that's always so lovely to see. So it's always really good from that point of view as well. Anyway, I will leave that there. It's enough waffle from me. So if you want the pattern, either the free version or the paid version, or if you want the new yarn pack, which will be out and available from Black Sheep Wools now, then pop down to that Spice of Life link that I've put below, and everything will be in that one central place. So that's all you need to know is there. But I hope that's been helpful for you, and I hope you want to join us on our little casual crochet along, and I'll see you next time. Bye!